Hello folks, the Celtic Nerd here, bringing you another nerdy video. It is Wednesday, the 1st of February. I almost forgot what month it was. And welcome to the new format, or basically the new way I will be doing my Ludosport videos. Unfortunately, because of some legal reasons, I will no longer be streaming the videos. Instead, I will be recording them, and then basically I may have to do some editing. Luckily enough, with this video there's no editing really needed, so I can just jump straight into with the new content. And that is one of the advantages here, folks, with this new format, is I can actually give some context of what's going on. Now I need to say this straight off the bat. I will be adding some commentary. I'll be possibly mentioning names of techniques and such. I do need to preference this. This is not, and I repeat, not to help you guys learn how to do what's in the videos. Okay? This is no. If you want to learn how to fight like this, I'm afraid you're going to have to look up your actual, the nearest Ludosport Academy, wherever you're watching this. Could be the UK, could be, several other countries. We have Spain, France, Italy, obviously, the UK, Ireland, and there's some in America, and Hawaii. So, keep that in mind, folks. Just because the technique might seem simple on screen, there's I can tell you they are a lot more complicated, and you will need a proper instructor to help you through this. These sparring sessions are for training purposes, which means there will be mistakes in these fights. These videos are for entertainment purposes, obviously. They're for promotion of Ludosport, okay, but they are also meant, and this is one of the primary reasons that I do these videos, they are for the students from the class to try and spot their mistakes from a different angle and be like, okay, I noticed I did this, but I should have really have done that. So folks, again, do not try this at home unless you're an actual Ludosport member who has an instructor to help you correct your mistakes. Now, if you're not a Ludosport member, still, you enjoy the fights. Enjoy watching people, fight around with them. And if there's an academy near you, possibly sign up and you can learn how to fight like this. Okay? I just want to make sure that it's clear that this is not an instructional video. Okay? Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, I'll be not using anyone's real names. I'll be using their battle names to the best of my memory. I know that the one in all black, this gentleman right here, is Eat My Sandwich, I believe. I cannot remember what was on his hoodie. And here we have, I have his name because he messaged it to me last night. Atrides. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I am so sorry if you're watching this and you're like, he didn't get my name right. I apologize. We have an official here, the best trained official Ludosport Ireland has at the moment. I believe they're still technically in training. I cannot remember. I was corrected that in terms of saying that they were an official. I think they're still in training. I'm not sure of the situation. Lucy Novia, or Nusanova. I think it's Nusanova. And back here we have the Dean of Ludosport Dublin, and the person who's been doing Ludosport in Dublin consecutively the longest. In terms of taking no breaks or having to step away for X amount of years. He's been doing it the longest, hence why he's now the Dean of Ludosport Dublin, and he's also one of the best Form 1 defensive fighters that I personally seen. So yeah, I will be trying to say some of the names of the techniques that are being performed, but again, keep in mind, this is not an instructional video. So yeah, that's about 5 minutes of me basically saying what this new format is going to be like. I will adjust the audio depending on the need. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna open up my audio mixer a little bigger, so that way I can better see the difference in the volume. Mic is turned up to max. We'll lower desktop audio to a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep an eye on that so you guys can hear the commentary. So here goes. Oh yeah, sorry. This new format, because I intended to record this earlier, but I realized my mic was muted, so I had to start over. So in the background there is another arena. Unfortunately, I only have the one camera, so hopefully you guys are okay with seeing only one arena. You can technically see it in the background. I may actually have to readjust the angle of the camera to be facing away from whatever arena we're not fighting, so there is actually space in between the arenas, as you can probably tell. I might have to adjust the camera to basically avoid that. There is some blind spots, I'm afraid, especially towards the edges of the arena, especially when you get to the towards the camera. Like so, from this perspective, it'll be the bottom. It'll be around this area and this area. That white line, technically, I believe, is out of bounds. Like, this area is out of bounds, so it should be to this white line. So and there's a white line here, which means technically these guys should be starting a bit more closer together. But anyway, it's just practice. It's not an official tournament, so we don't really. Again, the main purposes is just the practice techniques that we've learned and practice and principles. I will be adding commentary about the fights, such as what I was aiming to practice. So here goes. Okay, I'm hearing the audio from the video, but I'm not seeing a blip on the thing. Hold on, let me check my volume, my actual volume mixer. Open volume mixer. There, that is. It's set to default, but I don't know what the default is. Oh yeah. Okay. I think I know what I can do. So I'll set that to this. Alright, I'm gonna set the audio from the video to my headphones. So let's see if that fixes the issue. Okay, yeah, that definitely fixes the issue. We're just gonna have to turn down the headphones a little bit. Alright, so now that let's start over. I'm so sorry about this, folks. So there we go. So right now they're using Form 1. Like, Eat My Sandwich has great reflexes. He panics a little bit, but like, again, as you can see, he has great actual response. So yeah, so one of the things we're currently trying to practice now, this is something that I really struggle with. Like, everyone in, like, pretty much 90% of the academy does this so much better than me. And he's, you know, the dean is talking about that, which is everyone keeps fighting at like 110% from the start. Like, everyone's at that speed from the start of the fight. He wants us to try and, you know, slow down, so that way we can probably make better use of tempo, which will help us get around our opponent's defenses and such. So basically, instead of going full speed straight off the bat, try and you know, dial it down to you know, 90, so that way when you need that sudden burst of speed, you can basically make use of it. And that's one of the things, like, sparring is again meant to help us practice. So yeah. So here we go. Um, so yeah, good letter rally there. Good declaration. So right there, Ratius and Eat My Sandwich are also practicing the thing that we've been going over for the past 3 weeks, which are diagonales. So yeah, there, as you can see, they are actually slowed down. Good ratio form. Now, certain people, height does play into an account because, ooh, that was not the best way to block. A bit too stabby there, but again, everyone makes mistakes, and you should see the mistakes that I'm going to be making. And in all fairness, the Arterize, the one in maroon or red, to be very simple, he's actually very new to Ludosport. So, like, and there we go. That is, like, right there, that is a good visual example of Sakuri, especially the respect aspect of it. You know, like, again, we're just here to help each other practice. So at the end of a good fight, you know, at the end of a fight, you know, a good simple knuckle touch, handshake, or a hug, which is my preferred method. I'm more of just a knuckle touch guy. Is a great way to show, like, you know, basically to show respect. Like, it's a simple gesture. Now, like, so again, like, they're very good form from both of them. Eat My Sandwich sometimes I feel like has a bit of a confidence issue, which, again, I really hope he watches these videos and actually sees that he is a good fighter, like, you know, and he needs to just have a bit more confidence in himself. He's a fantastic fighter, and our I need to keep referring to his name on my Discord. Atrides, again, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Like, despite being new, like, he shows a lot of potential, and I'm just amazed. And I believe the next fight is actually going to be with two very new people, and, like, they both show great promise. So let's just get started on this. Like, they've been doing it about a month. I think both of them have been doing it about a month. Maybe him just before Christmas. Like, again, like, both their experiences are going to be very little, but, like, the potential is just amazing. So here we go. This is their first, I believe this is their first recorded fight. So, like, there you go. Like, he's trying to turn off. So here we go. So very limited, you're going to see very limited techniques with these two, and again, that's because we teach at a certain pace. But again, like they have a lot of here's some corrections from the dean. Yeah, so some basic things. We're just gonna skip over that. So yep. Yeah. So another thing that we're just gonna rewind a bit. Okay, so another simple instruction they were given just there was about declarations and where an E and O takes place. Now that I can actually add these commentaries, it's a bit easier for me to explain that, because you'll hear in my videos people shout E, O. Now I can actually explain that. So in Ludosport, we have what's called self-declaration. Now, we do have typically in a tournament, we have two referees that will run around the arena, trying to keep across from one another so they can see the fight. So we have two people looking at the fight from different angles. But it is self-declaration, it's part of service, and it's also part of respect. So, in terms of the scoring system, you have E, which is from hands. Your lightsaber is also an E. your hands and up to your elbow, and your foot up to your knee. Now, knee and elbows, and up to, like, everywhere else is an O. Now, with E, what you do is you declare, you open up your guard, and you shout E. You need to shout it loud enough for the referees and potential style judges to be able to hear, which is why you would hear very little audio in the background, with the exception of lightsabers. And it's for that reason, so that the refs can possibly hear the declaration. Now, if you get hit on the top of the head, never the side, never the front. Okay. Well, there are cases where we do hit the like around the stomach and chest area, but that is with the very flat of the blade, and that is with a very controlled techniques. But again, this is not an instructional video, so I'm not going to go into detail on how you do them. But anywhere else that is not below the elbow or below the knee is like you declare O, and you once again have to declare it loud enough for everyone to hear. An O is basically a fatal blow, and you get a point for that. And then after a point, you typically then reset to the center of the arena. In some of these sparring videos, you will see us not resetting. That's just because, again, we're more focused on practicing the techniques than we are about winning the match. Now, do we aim to still get the O? Of course, we should still practice to aim for the O. But we're also practicing control, the techniques that we are going over, and a bunch of other things. Okay, so that's why not all the time you'll see us not resetting to the center of the arena. So again, like, these guys are relatively new, but again, they have a very good understanding of some of the techniques, or at least the intent. Like, and again, like, the important thing is also they're having fun. Like, you can see it on their faces. They're smiling as part of doing this sport. So we're just going to fast forward a little bit, because we don't want to watch them constantly be, oh, okay, now see, in an official match he's technically unblocked, and you heard my lightsaber turn on. There we go, I'm handing them to him. There we go. Now in game of death, we typically wouldn't do that. Oh, there's the Via. Oh, a bit overeager, but like, his aim, like, despite being fairly new, his aim is never too high, I'm noticing. Or at least I'm not. Okay, that one, fair enough, was a bit too high. But again, he's new, he's going to make those mistakes. But for the most part, he's doing a really well job. And for someone who's only been doing this for less than a month, she's also really good. Good reaction time with their techniques. So that's me trying to move the camera back so that they're to lessen the blind spot. And here we go. Now this is something he clearly wants to teach him a lesson of some kind. Maybe we'll I cannot remember what it is, but maybe we'll spot it together. Here we go. I'm just going to take a sip. There. So now, what our instructor is doing right now is he is using a simple technique, a simple concept of Form 1 that is extremely powerful. You learn it easily within the 6 months. I cannot remember exactly when, but it is a very easily concept, but it's difficult to master, and it's called the pendulum. And right now he's trying to reinforce the compass movements. So you see, that's what he's doing. He's doing very controlled guardias to, you know, try and get him to step out and sideways. Like, he's not focused on beating his opponent. He sees that there's something that he needs to go over, and as part of service, he is helping him with that. And there you go. And that was an example right there of the tempo that Ardeen is currently trying to push, which is, you know, hold back a little bit, and then when you think there's the right opportunity, then go at full speed. It is a concept I am very struggling with myself, but like, again, by that sheer example, I feel like he has a better understanding of that than I do, and it's something that I just love to see when, like, people who are doing it less than me are getting concepts that, you know, I still struggle with. Like, it gives me motivation to try harder, which is why, even though I'm not a fan of them, I am, like, really focused on doing the honey sparring as best as I can that we've been doing for the past while. So, and because of that, I am seeing improvements. So here we go. Once again. Oh, just try. Yep. Now again, there are some mistakes here that he's making, but again, Ardeen is more focused on trying to teach a specific lesson. So he does not want to overwhelm him with information, and also he understands that this guy is very new, so he's giving him the time. He's not going to hound him on this. He's going to allow him to process the information at a more organic rate. Yeah, there you go. See, that's another example of how to help someone learn. Like, if you see someone doing a technique that is very obviously wrong, you know, you can be like, no, and you can try and help them. Like, don't. I understand the reflex will be to tell them right away, like, how to do it, but again, I do like how the dean did that. He just was like, no, did it again, and no, and then, you know, he basically allowed his own memory to come in, and I feel like that is a great way. Like, it's like what I do when I do help my brother's homework. I do not give my brother the answer straight away. I do try and figure out the question for myself so I can tell him if he's right, and then I help him try and find the answer himself. So that way it's better, it's more internalized. Like, it helps. I feel like it helps, you know, the person remember the thing a lot easier. Now we have a member here. I do not know his battle name. Oh yeah, here's my fight. Now, you might notice something about me, folks, in terms of when I'm fighting, and, like, watch my feet. Like, now obviously in this case, I will, at the end of my fight, I will say it, but, like, there is something that was up with my feet throughout this fight and throughout the class. It's more prominent when I have to move quickly. And I'm curious if anyone will really notice it. Oh, my Polaris is not turned on. There we go. Alright. So, this member right here, he is also one of the fantastic fighters. He actually came second for War in the last tournament. He's an absolutely brilliant fighter. He actually did a couple of workshops, so he has some other techniques that up his sleeve that I do not have, and I was hoping he would use them against me, but I don't believe he did. If otherwise, I was more focused on what I was aiming for. And let's see. Okay, so right now I'm using Form 2. And so yeah, right there was a good example of what I'm actually aiming to practice on for the next good long while, because it's something I still semi struggle with, and that is mixing Form 1 and Form 2. So we're actually going to go back so I can point out the examples. Oop, too far. Back a bit. There we go. Alright, so we did the salute. So I started off in the guard in Form 2, and then I've been also experimenting with a bit more defensive Form 2, which this is an example of, so there you go. Form 2, because as soon as I blocked his technique, I was in Form 2 what's called Cuneo. I had control over the center, which is what Form 2 wants, so I was able to just simply twist my wrist and get the O when he transitions to his next attack. Now in this after I got the O, I'm gonna try and take this even slower. So there's the O, and then afterwards I attacked him with Form 2, and then after he blocked my Vendente, I twisted my wrist and transitioned into a Form 1 Diagonale Destro, and then from there I transitioned to a Levante and then a Ratio. So I transitioned to a different form. Unfortunately, again, so there you go. He got an E on me. So there's a decoration. I switched over. Now, this is something that you guys will probably notice. I was concerned about how my blade got locked in with his, and my technique was raised up to his head. You couldn't see it, but watch. It's something that I'm very self-conscious about lately. And also, a fun fact about me, folks. I cannot judge distance correctly. It is a bane of my existence, especially since I love playing Warhammer 40k. I cannot look at two objects and be like, okay, they're in a rough X amount of distance to each other. And unfortunately, in past Warhammer 40k editions, you basically would miss out on shooting, getting into melee combat, or psychic powers because you misjudge the distance between models. And that happened to me a lot, to the point where my friends actually started allowing me to pre-measure, in some cases, my models, and then eventually they allowed pre-measuring to be okay in 40k, which I'm thrilled about. So, but unfortunately, it also affects me in Ludosport, and there's some great examples of this. Watch. So, I go on the offensive. Look how far I am. Do you see how far I was off the target? And it becomes more difficult for me when we're just fluently doing combat. Alright. Now I'm doing Diagonale. So, Form 2 is great at very quickly finishing a fight. There we go. Now, see, I am mixing into Form 1, but, like, one of the things I am not doing there, and I'm not sure if you guys can notice it, but my feet are actually slipping from underneath me. So he's actually in a very offensive stance. He got me when I tried to do a simple Form 2 trick. I'm trying to practice it again. Oh, and time was up. So, yeah. he's transitioning to another arena. Again, I do not know their battle names. You're actually going to see me. Yeah, there's me getting my drink because I desperately need it. And at one point, you will see me crossing the camera because the dean basically wants to have a word with me about how I am giving too much of a fight too early. So like, so yeah, again, great fighters here. Again, I would love to give people's battle names, but I just don't know them. And here we go. Like again, he has slowed down for him. So, because like if he could win the fight instantly, what would he learn? What would he have practiced? And the same goes for him. So now that was a very dangerous type of situation there. A very stabby thrust, but again, he's new. He will get out of that habit. And good declaration there. See, like he's already learning from previously. But yeah, oh god, the glaring weakness of me is just judging distance. And this is Circulo. How do you pronounce it in Italian? It's Circulo. Oh no, it's last fight. Sorry. So yeah. Now I always like these moments when the instructor takes a moment to, you know, slowly fight with a fellow, like, you know, with the students, like give them a proper chance to, you know, practice, and then give them a good on one-on-one time to help them with mistakes. Now see right there, he held, like he could have blocked that technique, but like again, what would be the point of it? And there's me trying to adjust the camera a little bit. Alright. Like, again? Yeah. Just, again, reiteration of O's. Again, this person has been doing it for about a month at most. So, the dean is obviously taking the time to, you know, explain things. And like right there, like again, this is what Ludosport is, folks. It's not choreography. It is a disciplined sport with, like, you know, techniques and whatnot. And even though like he's there to teach and also practice himself, but like again, he prioritizes what's correct. Yeah, and that's another thing. Is a lot of new people tend to tense up, and now he's just telling you, relax, because you don't want to be tense when you're fighting. Good. Yeah, like again, I just like what. That's one of the reasons why I like looking back on some of the videos is noticing, you know, my own mistakes, but also seeing very good moments of service. I believe in that case, what he was trying to teach was go to target, because early on, like a lot of the time, early in people's training with Ludosport, they don't go to target. Like they would have the opportunity to hit their opponent, but then they don't, because they're worried about hurting each other. Alright, this is the last fight, folks. Be loose. Once again, the be loose lesson. Oh, there you go. Anale. Oh, and there you counter tempoed. Nice. Mind you, that whole running pass, I don't think that's a technique in far. There is a technique like it, but there's another aspect she did not do. But sorry, and that's me. Okay, so that was me correcting 3 people. They're as part of security. We watch each other's fights because it shows respect to the 2 people who are fighting, but also it gives us a chance to potentially learn. And like, the more you learn about your opponent, the better you can fight against them. And again, like, it's also in this aspect, it's more the respect, because observing your opponent for weakness, that's more in terms of tournament mentality. I had a moment in my first tournament, my first international tournament. Sorry, not my first tournament, my first international tournament, where one of my opponents was not watching my fights, and I discovered he was not watching my fights because in those fights, in my previous fights before him, I was using Form 2, but he clearly wasn't. He did not know that because he was not observing. So when it came to me and him fighting, I went into Form 1 Guardia for the start of the fight. He thought, okay, this person only has Form 1, so he went at me. I believe it was Form 3. I cannot remember the form he used, but because he let his guard down, because he did not realize I had Form 2, I quickly shifted immediately. Once I heard the via, I shifted into Form 2, Semifundo in Commensa in Form 2, which completely caught me off guard, and I got the O. So in a tournament aspect, observing your opponent's fights is part of is a tactic that you need to employ. But in terms of these training, again, it's still respectful. Sorry, let me clarify. It's still showing respect to your opponent by observing their fights, not only as a tactical, but in a training situation, it's more about the respect aspect. I saw some people huddled in a little sort of like triangle because there was only 3 of them, talking and basically not watching the fight. So I was like, hey, observe. So that's all that was. Nice. Believe it or not, this person semi-fights like I do, which is a lot of counter-attacks. They're quite aggressive at times. But yeah, that was the last fight. So now it is time to circle up. Now, there's an aspect of circling up that is not really covered here. It's something that our Dean does want to eventually cover. Now, there's a reason why I'm moving the camera in. I'm trying to not catch a person in the camera, so just trying to get a certain angle. And I'm not looking around because, again, the person requests that I do not be doing it. One sky! And there's our motto. And again, the purpose of our motto is to basically be inclusive, you know? Like, there's Ludosport UK, there's Ludosport Ireland, there's Ludosport Sweden, Italy, France, Spain. I believe we have an academy in Amsterdam. We have Hawaii. We have a few in the US. Like, despite how separate we are, and despite we're in different countries, we are Ludosport. And it's that inclusivity which is why my new sign off for my channel is One Name, One Sky. Because the message behind it is something that I just really hold dear to myself. And I hope everyone who watches my videos has the same mindset of, you know, basically, like, there's no reason to, like, we all live under one sky, you know, despite the distance. I'm getting a bit too preachy, but yeah, folks. Again, we saw great examples of Sakuri. You saw what I'm basically trying to work on, which is mixing up the techniques of different forms, which I'm still struggling with. I also have to remember to make sure I bring the right type of shoes. Unfortunately, I was so focused on packing the waivers for me to be able to record members that I forgot to pack the runners that I normally wear to Ludosport. Another thing I need to practice on is trying to conserve my energy. And also, I need to try and figure out a way of properly judging distance, because as you saw, let's see if we can get back to it. I think it was around here. Like, nope, it wasn't there. Where was it? Oh yeah, okay. I think it was after this bit. Where was it? My attacks were just completely off the mark. You know what? Doesn't matter. But my techniques are so far from my opponent. They are not within measure. You know, they are out of my measure. But because I'm trying to do fluid techniques, and because, you know, they're, you know, moving their weapon, it's hard for me to tell. But the thing is, that's how you get style points now, which is you get style points for chaining your attacks, and unfortunately, being on the offensive, you can't really. It's not a chain if you go back to your guard. So that is something that I need to try and figure out. I have no idea how I'm going to grasp that, but still, I need to figure out something. Because eventually everyone's going to notice that glared thing. At the moment, there are 2 people. Actually, everyone who watches this is going to know now. But at the time of this recording, there were only 3 people who knew I had an issue with like visually measuring a distance. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised no one else has noticed up until this point. But, like, yeah, I need to try and figure something out. It's one of the reasons why I'm tempted to go short blades, because they give me the proper reason to get up to my opponent. You know, but I do like Form 2 because Form 2 does help because I have that extra reach. As opposed to Form 1. My Form 1 is where I think I am so often out of measure. With Form 2, it's because we have semifundo medias. Like, there are often the moments where I end up getting their hands or their hilt. With Form 2, I don't get the O as often as I should when I do these techniques. But at least I get the E, which tells me, okay, I just need to get a little bit closer to get the O. But yeah, I need to try and figure out something to address that glaring weakness I have. But yeah, folks, hopefully I will get more people's battle names so I can, you know, refer to people rather than like this guy and this guy, you know. But yeah, this is basically the new format. I hope everyone likes the added commentary of the fights. I'm hoping to, like, and again, I have no idea how the commentary is going to be going forward. It's just again, I felt like while I'm editing these videos in future, I might as well add commentary as best as I can. And again, it also helps me, you know, more identify, because it means, because I'm taking the time to analyze the different aspects, it does help me, you know, spot, you know, glaring issues I'm having in my own technique. Anyway, we are 45 minutes in. This video, as you can see, is only about 18, give or take. So yeah, we went way over. We went into a good bit of detail. I feel like we went into a bit too much detail on me. Hopefully next time there'll be a lot more focus on the people outside the others. But yeah, again, great improvement from everyone, like, and oh my god. And the honey sparring, for any Ludosport members out there who are watching this video, if you have an issue with honey sparring, I feel you. I have an issue with it myself, but you know, just do it. Give it your all in the honey sparring. Like, give it your full attention, give it your full effort, because as someone who's struggling with certain aspects with form, especially with form 2, it is greatly helping me. And it's an exercise that may feel silly, but it's an exercise that really does wonders. Anyway, this is the Celtic Nerd, also known as Doulahan in terms for Ludosport tournaments. Signing out. One name, one sky.